Sweet. All right. So let's do this then.
Word.
You can hear that? Welcome to Mindful Minutes with Musicians, the
Yeah,
show
I
where
can
we
hear that.
aspire to inspire musicians and artists talking about mindfulness and what brings us through our practice to achieve greater goals. All right. So today we have Panther Matumona, a creative and inspiring musician that I've had the pleasure of knowing for quite some time now, with music and movies, an amazing poster roster of TV music that can be found on YouTube and at www.panthermatumona.com. He has performed the world around from Montreal to Moscow, and here he is with us, Panther Matumona. So good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries.
It's good to see you also. I
Oh,
see you're doing well. It's always good to hear from you.
it's
And
nice to
now,
it's nice to see faces and kind of like do this kind of stuff during these times.
exactly.
Great,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And for us, when the industry is kind of shut down, you know what I mean? Like at least the live event and being out there, we're not able to do that. So I guess it's nice to be able to kind of find ways to get back to it, you know, like to be able to hear
that's true. It's really strange how for so many years the industry, like musicians, would only their income would come from doing shows, and
right,
now it's been completely flipped on its head.
right.
you know,
The
now it's entirely streaming, right?
the tour and the t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, and now it's like, all right, now we got to figure out how to do that stuff, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
the past few years has been interesting because we've seen musicians take back, um, I guess, take back their music. You know what I mean? Because before it was so easy to download anything on the internet. People would torrent things, and but now everybody has Spotify, so the
right.
musicians are actually getting paid
Yeah.
as they should for their music. And if you're finding new releases, you can't just find them on a million different websites. They're only on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer. So it
Yeah.
actually has been I guess like a renaissance as far as the way that musicians um, keep our income. You know?
Well, it wasn't long ago that like the whole thing was like I was listening to this on another what was it, another show where they're saying like that the industry used to be you'd have to come out with an album. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You'd have to like come up with that, and even if you only had one or two like hit tracks, you could fill that album, but people
yeah,
wouldn't buy that album for that one or two tracks that they wanted to listen to or whatever. But like they still had to buy that whole album. Whereas now
that's
it's like
true.
you gotta go out, you can go out and just buy that single tune that you want, you know. So
Yeah,
there's a whole like different flip on that end of it too, right? So
it's true. It's true, and it's like that one single becomes kind of like a commercial for the rest of your album because if you
right,
have one huge single, that's gonna drive the sales for your album because now everybody's gonna want to know what else you can do, and because now musicians are doing a lot more than they used to do. Like you have guys like Tyler the Creator, who produces all of his own music. So there's no longer that dynamic where you need to have like a Quincy Jones, or you need to have like a producer whose sole purpose is to produce your album.
yeah.
You can just do it all yourself,
Oh
and
yeah.
if you're talented enough, you can get it
And
done.
so many people have the ability to do that, right? So
Exactly.
the you know the if you're able to do that and still come up with something crazy good, then obviously you know what I mean. It's worth it to come and go in and check the rest out and
Exactly. And
that's
studios are becoming smaller and smaller.
yeah. No, it's really cool. I also noticed you started an ASMR show on your YouTube. So
I did. I
can
did.
you explain how that started and like what influenced that and like
It was kind of a weird idea. I started like the idea was I really just looked at my studio and I was like, okay, what can I can I do in this space that I'm not already doing? With the tools that I have.
Yeah.
So I have a smartphone, which means you have a TV studio pretty much, you know,
Right. It's like your secondary
and
camera. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, right. So I said, okay, I usually talk to musicians about creativity. And I see a lot of, either whether it be podcasts or tutorials on how to make beats or how to do this or how to do that. But nobody really talks about how to tap into actually the driving force of your creativity, like the creator that's in all of us. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm talking about.
And
This is kind of what I
so
want to
yeah,
get to. Is this? I love this. That, and this is why I'm really happy that you kind of joined me for this. You know, first
yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm
test
glad for sure.
episode of all this, because like the mindfulness and like being able to tap into, that kind of shit before, like, you know what I mean. Like, it's like we used to tap in this before a live show. You'd be like, all right, mindful, take that moment,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, that breath and all that, you know what I mean, and
definitely.
you think about that, um whereas like you're able to still tap into that even in this like remote kind of way. You're still able
Yeah,
to kind of like,
exactly.
you know yeah, it's
And to
cool.
reach people, to reach people in a way that isn't necessarily a how-to on certain things.
Yeah,
For those who like to watch how-tos, they can take it as that. But for those who are looking for more of an approach, it's more of a um, I guess like a Kickstarter for
hmm,
for creativity.
yeah,
So we
totally.
talk about the core. We kind of, I guess, like separate the different topics of creativity and how we get there, how it works, what it does, and how that pertains to our real life. Because we're not only being creative when you sit down and start creating something or start playing music or whatever it is you might do. Because I personally am a musician. I make music, I make beats, I make instrumentals. But the same rules could apply to someone who does visual arts or graphics or painting or anything
Right.
like that.
Yeah, totally,
So
man.
I didn't want to kind of limit it to those who produce music and specifically hip hop. I wanted to go in that direction, but also be able to showcase um,
Your own
examples of what it is
skills.
that I'm
Yeah.
doing. Right. So like this
Yeah.
is what I'm doing. This is the concept I'm trying to show you, and here's an example of it. And now you can leave with with more ideas. It's supposed to at least be an inspiration to start looking at things differently, so that your own creativity starts to swirl.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah, that was
totally.
pretty much the basic idea, and
That's sick.
um, yeah, I named it "A Swim in My Realm" because it is really the idea is that you're inside my head. That's why you only hear my voice. You know what I'm
Yeah, no,
saying?
I
And
love that
of course,
angle
yeah.
of it, right? Like, it's cool.
'Cause, I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers that you'll just see talk in front of their microphone or in front of the camera. So I wanted to do the same thing, but innovate on that a little bit more. You know what I mean? So it's like you have, and of course, like because I didn't have to actually say anything on camera, I just have to emote what I'm saying. So it's more of a way of being more creative with it, but also I get to have snacks.
Yeah, totally, totally. That's amazing. That's cool. That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I really dig that. I've been lately. I've been getting into like I've really been listening to the
There you
RZA's
go.
uh meditation album, and like
Oh yeah.
checking out like yoga and that kind of stuff, and like really getting down to, you know what I mean, like getting into my head, you know what I mean, like really kind of like
Oh, okay. Okay.
that kind of stuff. So I dig this, man. I dig it.
It's always nice to put on something, that puts you in like a specific mood, so you can be more effective at whatever it is you're trying to accomplish that day. You know?
Yeah, I find like like when you're listening to RZA's thing, I'm like he's throwing down hip hop back in this like meditative state, and like it's kind of showing like you can meditate to whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like you can throw on a Panther album and just kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna like be in my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
there are
listen to
certain
this and like get into it. But yeah,
there are certain modes in which that can be done. I do have a lot of music that's pretty aggressive, so it could be hard to, you know,
Yeah, but I guess
but,
that like that's also the thing. It's having this music and like being able to listen to it and love it and still be in this like kind of like really chill state. You know what I mean? Like
that's awesome.
you know what I
I
mean?
appreciate that too. I do have
Yeah,
I have a very large vault of music. I constantly create. I haven't released much in the past year, like about in the past 2 years or so. So I had to really, really flesh out my new sound because
yeah,
as a producer, I haven't released a lot of music that I produced myself. So I had to, um, I guess hone that skill and get to a
hmm
point where I can create pretty much anything.
yeah. No,
And
I
then
think it's
yeah,
like it's it's because I feel there's like anywhere between R&B to hip hop to like you know what I mean. There's like you're it is pretty vast. I like, but uh, so how do you find that you're getting through these COVID times? Like what kind of like methods are you taking and what are you doing um to kind of like mentally get through it?
um, I could tell you definitely keeping busy
Mm,
because idle hands are never a good thing. Especially in times like this when you
yeah,
have to be at home in the same space 24/7 pretty much.
yeah, no,
Um,
totally.
staying creative because as much as it is a strange time, it's also a time where we get all the time in the world to do all the things that you said you had no time for. You know what I mean?
There's
So
always a
it's
list of
definitely
things that you're like, all right,
yeah,
as soon as I got time, I'm gonna do this, that, this, the other.
exactly. And so now there's no excuses.
Yeah.
So there's now there's that. So being productive and creative allows me to be. I've always liked to be like love to be in on to have a head start. And I always have music that's always available to create, um, just so I can have it on the side and be like, okay, there's a bunch of music I love. When it
Yeah.
comes to time, like it's all here instead of me looking for you know time to make more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, I have been fasting.
Okay.
You know,
Hmm.
yeah, that's another thing that I've been doing.
Just because or for
Clarity
okay.
for clarity. Because there's a lot more energy that goes, like the energy that you have is allotted in a more effective manner when you're not
Hmm.
thinking about food.
Yeah. Most of your day, you're thinking about food. Like you get up,
Thinking
this is
about food, thinking
breakfast.
about what you just ate, like, or what you're going to eat, or maybe like there's all
Yeah.
this time actually does not fly when you're not
What's
eating.
in your
You know what I mean?
fridge? What's not in your fridge?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. And like, if you go a few days or even a week without eating or drinking, you will find that you live that week. You know what I mean? Because every day that 24 hours it's right on you. There's no time flying. People say life passes you
Mm.
by and things like that. It doesn't when you're not thinking about
Like
food.
you're flying right there beside time, right? Like it's
Exactly. You're
yeah.
living every moment it's because you're actually a lot more alert. Your body needs to be a lot more alert and use energy efficiently when you technically need to find food, even though you know where it is. But your
Hmm.
brain is working more efficiently when it thinks you need to find food than when you've eaten. Because when you eat, you just go to sleep. you know.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
it's
totally.
not eating that gives you energy. It's the lack thereof.
Yeah, no, I've been finding things like working out, getting up, and trying to do, and skip rope and kind of work out, and in the evening,
That's
uh,
exactly what I was thinking about doing too.
doing
Skip rope.
meditation and yoga. Like it's yeah, no, it, I think everyone has to find what works for them. You know what I mean? And find like
It's true, and with
yeah.
whatever tools that are at your disposal.
Hmm.
You know, and sometimes people have limited tools, but they're super creative with what they can do with those limited tools. So they can end up doing a lot more than someone who has all the tools to do all the different things, you know?
Yeah,
So it's
no,
about
totally.
rearranging the tools you have, because you might think, okay, I have this and this and this, and this is what I've been doing with it. I've been doing this for a long time, but you never really look at it sideways and see what's going on with the tools themselves, what you have at your disposal to actually see, yo, like I've never used this in this type of manner. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
totally,
then
man.
you can I guess repurpose whatever it is that you're doing and add more substance to what you're doing.
Yeah,
And I find that that's important. It's just something that's lacking. And
yeah. No, it's true, man. It's true.
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. You can still hear the music in the background, right?
sorry.
You can still hear the music in the background.
Actually, no, I can't. Not at the moment. I
No,
cannot.
can you hear it now?
Not yet. No, still silent. I think there might be like a gate on the Zoom line or something.
You can hear it now.
Yes, there we go.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
yeah, it's been quite a while since I've taken a good listen to that.
Yeah. I went to your website and I'm like, I wanted to play some music behind this, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh, there you go. Boom. I'm gonna take this out because it was a free download, right, on your
yeah,
album.
for sure.
Yeah. So I
Exactly.
was like, all right, perfect, free download, and then you got tracks like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
Oh, you could totally meditate and do a lot to this kind of track, right? You can really chill to this.
that's definitely one of the tracks that's really more on the relaxing side.
Oh
Oh
man,
yeah,
yeah, no, it's I super appreciate um like all of this, man. This has been super cool, and yeah, yeah, I yeah,
yeah. I
I got
appreciate
no
it too. I
more words,
appreciate you
man.
keeping
This
it in
is
mind.
like I'm like yeah, this is super cool, man.
Man, I appreciate it too. It's always good to talk to you, man. Straight up.
All right, I'm gonna hit this outro. Thank you for tuning in to Mindful Minutes with Musicians. For more information about my guest and the topics of the show, go to www.davidblackmoremusic.wordpress.com and connect with us on all social media platforms. Welcome to the MMWM family, where we aspire to inspire. See you soon. That's what we're looking to do. We're aspiring to
That's
inspire.
awesome. Yes, exactly. That's valuable.
So again, thank you so much for um, taking the time to chat with me about this stuff and the things we can do to get through this crazy shit.
Yeah, and thank you for thinking of me, man.
No worries, man. All right, I'm gonna cut this now.